started? You gotta be kidding.
It's Sniuta, and like I do every time, is read across the top because we're analyzing this one pasuk. And the pasuk says, "Kreen in Yudi Lo Yud to Tov Yitzer." Then Yud said Yitzer goes back to another pasuk. So he says Yud, that phrase Yitzer has a Yud Elo Yud to Tov, but once again it refers to two Yudin. We are trying to identify the Yudin. Then it has the word Yehi in parenthesis. Then it says Yud Elo Yud to Tov. Hey Begavaihu, and then there's a hey in between them. Klal the Shlimo Shlim below Har Star. So what you have now is the two Yudin, and there is a completion here, but not in every aspect, not in every place. So he says, "Is Akar Mahai," and it uproots itself from this place. As Shema Do, the place that this name is located. V'ishtil ba'achra, and it's planted elsewhere. Because V'yita Hashem Elokim Yita. So the Lashon sounds that it plants Hashem Elokim, pronounce it, but I think his point is, and he mentions in the Meforshim over here, or what does he call this? He calls it the Makoros. He says that this refers to Zer Anpin, are male and female. That kind of idea, Hashem Elokim. Now, we'll try to pick up the narrative, and we'll go real quickly up until number Tes Vav over here. And let me get down where we can see it better. And there it is. So he says, Omavoyer Od, Bemilas Yehi Hanal, Besod Shorj Zer Anpin, Bel Osios El Yonu Shal Erich Anpin. So this is the idea, is that these two are going together. Omar Keishtei Osios Yud Shal Midas Yehi Karinin Yud Elo Yud Tato. Anakorna Mosacha Besod Yud Elyon Yud Tachton Vahainu Os Yud, that is the Os Yud, the Rishon Shal Yehi Hu Yud HaElyon, and it refers to Erich Anpin. Shehu Sod Kuma Elo HaMakapis So Semis as Samochas Limor. So he says it's not just Erich Anpin, but it's actually the Kuma that covers over the Muchas Limor, the Erich Anpin. So he says, so to understand or to really appreciate all of that, it helps to have known or seen the Idris. V'os Yud Hasheni Shal Yehi, so the second who Yud Shuhu So Zer Anpin Atzmo. Coming along now, we're getting over to where we'll start. V'hidach Yud Tachton Shehi Zer Anpin. I'm sorry, we're not. Who Nishrash V'Diskayim B'Yud Elyon Shal Erich Anpin. Let's keep going on. V'amar Od Ki Shtei Yudim Elu Shal Midas Yehi. Heim Sod Shtei Yudin Shal Midas V'Yetzer. It's also the same thing that we used to V'Yetzer, he pronounced it. And Nisker B'Pasa V'Yetzer Hashem Elokim Es Adam. That's the kind of formation. Yud Elo Yud Tato. Here once again. Ki Hineb Shtecha B'Yudin Elu Heim Sod Yud Elyon De Erich Anpin V'Yud Tachton De Zer Anpin. But Inyan, the Inyan is like this. Sheyitziriz Zer Anpin, Hanikra Adam, Choysacha Besod Sura Besok Sura. So here's this idea, it is a form inside of a form, or a formation inside of a formation. So he said, B'Kavan, let me see if I got this right. I didn't. B'Kavan, here we are. She'erich Anpin, Mislavish B'toch Zer Anpin, V'amra Od Yehi, then it says Yehi. Now let's go over to this first, because this is where we have to go. I think it's number Yud Zion. There's a note down below. She'erich Anpin Mislavish B'toch Zer Anpin. This is the concept of the two Yuds of the word Yitzer. I think that's what he says. So let's look over here. Rei B'shar Ma'amari Rashbi Hanacha B'Shem the Idra Rabbah. He says, Ein Shom Be'idra V'Yitzach Hashem Elokim Es Adam. Trin Yudim Lama. Why do we have two different Yudim? So he Rosa the Ika Kadisha Rosa the Zer Anpin is the secret of the Atika Kadisha and the secret of Zer Anpin. V'Yitzer, which is I think it's being Erich Anpin. V'Yitzer my tsar. So what in fact is being formed? What are this use of the word tsar? Tsar tsura. So he formed a tsura of a formation, begod tsura inside of another formation. So what is that? Trin Shmachim the Iskri Shem Mali. The Tzura, before Tzura could be looked at in this way, it's the complete name, which is what name? It's Hashem Elokim, which is the concept of male and female, one inside the next. The Trin Yudin the Yitzer. So that's the secret of this. The Tsar Tzura God Tzura. Takunda de Shem Shlim, so it's the formation or the building of a Shem complete name, and this makes it in the two of them together. It's interesting, come together and then make a complete name, which is Avaya Elokem Ad Kan. Rabbi B'Farshim Sham Asher Be'arva Dehainu Rabisod Yislavshus Erich Anpin B'Dok Zer Anpin B'Zecha B'Sod Shem Shlim. That's the secret of this concept of a complete name. The Shem, which is Shem Shalim, which is Havaya and Elokim together. Havaya Elokim. Kishem Havaya, who Erich Anpin in this metaphor, he says, B'Shem Elokim refers to Zer Anpin, Ein Sham. So I'm saying that the normal way that I think of this is Zun, is Zer Anpin, and the Nukvad is Zer Anpin, and Malchus. So he says it actually refers to Erich Anpin and Zer Anpin, and then later on, we saw that he says that it's not complete though. It is complete in the sense that Zer Anpin now has Erich Anpin within inside of him, so that hookup is made. But with the Nukva, it hasn't happened yet. So let's go on to the next one. So after it says this phrase, She'erich Anpin, let's get it down here. She'erich Anpin mislavish tok Zer Anpin, v'omer od Yehi. Then it says Yehi. Now what does that mean? And it goes, let me just from. He said, "V'nitfas mokav b'sugrim milas yehi." So now it's going to focus on the word yehi because it says v'amar od yehi. So over here, the way that we have the published work is that it says it in parentheses. So where did they come from? They came from the publication that came out of Istanbul, of Constantinople, but those publications after became and then that was the beginning, and then all of them started to, all of the publications started to have the brackets. Became Lissa Mila Zulba or Yakar, but it's not, doesn't exist in the Yakar, which is the Ramak, the Khan, Khan. Okay, Mila Zul is a b'difusim kadmonim, so therefore this word is found in many early publications. He said v'hem gorsim kach yehi ilov satah ad kan. That's what it should be. Yehi ilov satah. That's what you should read it. V'chein tchu berov ksiveyad shefalenu. V'chein garas bibir hagra kan ein sham, and that's the way the Gra looks at it also. Okay, these men have a tremendous respect for the going on. So he says, let's go over here. So the phrase had been, we're going to look at number Yud Ches, I think, or Yud Tes. So he said, Yudi Law, Yud Tato, what's this all about? He said, Hey Gavai and Bagavaihu. So in between them, there's this Hey. So explain like the shtei Yudim shall midas yehi besod Yud Elyon de Erich Anpin v'Yud Tachton de Zer Anpin. Ma'amnam yeshka v'kam oz hey bein shtei Yudin elo. Between the two Yudin there is a hey. Rabbi Yavur Lochalan explains later on. Shei besod Ruach Chaim. This is the concept of a living Ruach. He says Ruach. Erich Anpin, and now we're getting into it like this. What exactly is the power or the source of the power, or what does it look like, the energy source? It looks like a Shehi Besod Ruach Chaim. It's a Ruach, a breath, or a wind, or a vapor, or something. It's Erich Anpin, which are coming out of the nostril. A nostril of Erich Anpin, the Hakio says Zer Anpin in order to bring life to him. Let's look at number Yud Tes, and I think it's what we'll do today. Let me see what we're doing here. What we'll do today, he says, Berei B'Shar Mari Rashbi. Sof, the Sifra Ditzanut over here, Shabir Kambas El Lashono. This phrase where it says, the Hey Begavaihu, Hey shebein Yud, the Yud. It's that Hey. Rum is the Ruach, and what is that? So what is this a reference to? He says this is a reference to the Ruach Chaim Yotze Bechotim Erich Anpin, the Zer Anpin, so that Hey, he says, represents that. Rabbi Idra Rabbi, look over the Bezal the Shon, the Chut Bechabechu Bepardashka, the Bei Nashiv Ruach Techarucha Dechai. He says this is the nose, then in that nose is blowing the Ruach Dechai, the Zer Anpin. So Zer Anpin, it's a ruach that Zer Anpin gets, it brings it, of course, it's a breath. That's where how we live. V'zecha v'nishba, this is what the concept of where it's a nishta, the berdashki, it's the breath that's coming out of the nose, or the ketanda, the command, v'zel the shon, the nishbecha, the berdashka, the chatika, the zera, the Anpin. Below rucha, without a rucha lo is kaim. So therefore, that praise nishbecha the partashka, the blowing of the nose of the chatika, which are the zera, which is Erich Anpin, the zera Anpin. Below rucha lo is kaim adkan. V'rei o l'cholon. So look later on. He said to see like that. V'zel d'shana rucha the nukva the partashka the nafik la achia. So I'm not sure what achia means. It sounds like to the brother, which is sounds like that on Khan. We're going to see that it's coming up. So on Sif Yud, so where does it actually come from? Looking more deeply in it, it comes from looking at Keser. Keser has 10 spheros, and it comes out of the Bina of that Keser. He Ruach Chaim Chai HaMelech, because this is the breath of light, the Chai HaMelech, the Nikra, Tehila, and it's called by the name, well, it's just like prayer. The Tehila se echtam lach, and that's a phrase over there in Yochai, in my praise. I said, I will blow through my nose. So he says, in other words, it's coming out of the nose, as if it's possible to say there is a nose at Erich Anpin, but let's say that the concept is that it's coming from this deep, deep place, which would be that nose. So he says, he who is the master of the nose, I am praying in that direction of the Baal HaChoitim, Ani Mischanan. So in that, in other words, we are seeking that Erich Anpin should be able to blow life down into us. Regan Bedezer Yisrael should be Erich Khan explaining Hopapicha Sharma Mari Rashbi, and saying like that. Vizel the Shono. Ki be Yud K Yud, that phrase Yehi. Base Yudin, you have the two Yudin, the Yitzer, that's the same Yudin that we had of the Atek, which refers to the Atek, the Zer Anpin. The Hey Begava, and then there's a Hey inside, which that's the Bina that we said is Bina. Not just Bina, because we're blowing from Erich Anpin. So it's the Bina of Erich Anpin, the Keser, that's in the Keser. Nukva, the Pardashka, which is actually, he says, Nukva also means the female aspect of the nose. Shehi Ruach HaChaim L'Zer Anpin, but he doesn't really say it like that. But it's interesting. This is Baruch Fleischman, Tikkun Elevator Kolo.